Hello Highlands, and welcome to our very first ever television airing. Here we're able to spread news to all of you and share with you the wonders of television. You're currently watching this through TVs in your homerooms. How boss?
We'll be having a word in the hall, asking students how they feel about this new television.
Can you tell us what you think about the new televisions in Highlands?
I think it's super mint. Just think about it, like TV's such a new thing, and now we have it at Highlands. I mean, the presidential debate that was first televised was only a couple of years ago, and now Highlands has it. Like, we're really ahead of the times, and it's really high tech.
That's cool. What do your friends think about it?
My friends love it. We're all really excited to see the first airing of TV.
Well, there you go, Highlands. Television's the new way to go.
Highlands was created with TVP. It was always in class, and it had a lot of popularity in it. When Highlands was founded in 1965, TVP was created with it because of the many historical events that television had impacted, such as the first televised debate between Nixon and Kennedy in 1960, and the Vietnam War had been going on for a while, and it was known as like the television war because every night you could sit down and watch like what was going on.
The presidential debate is viewed as a huge change in American politics. Monica Davey from New York Times Up Front writes, the imagery of that first nationally televised presidential debate, one of four that fall, marked a turning point in the election and, more significantly, a sea of change in what the nation's political contests would look like forever after.
You don't have to have a thing to be happy.
In 1964, television began broadcasting in color on prime time. However, Highlands remained in black and white. During this time, the Vietnam War was also going on, which was later coined as the Television War. This was the first televised war which allowed families to sit down each night and watch their own country at war.
Vietnam is viewed as a colossal failure by both historians and the community. Most Americans and even soldiers on either side were unsure as to why they were even fighting. Leslie H. Gelb, author of The Irony of Vietnam, The System Worked, agrees that Vietnam was in fact a failure, but points out that there were benefits to the event.
Television had such a large influence on the American society at the time and was rapidly becoming history and news's main medium. TVP is the school's reaction to the growing importance of television and how the world was changing and technology was growing.
What elective would you like to take next year? TVP's available.
I don't want to take TVP. No one in that class even cares about it. In the 1990s, the television fad had faded. Students didn't know why this had been brought to Highlands, and they didn't care. The history of this development at Northern Highlands was overshadowed and forgotten.
So, do you know why TVP came about?
I'm not too sure why or when it came about, but my guess with its purpose in the school is to kind of teach students the value of film editing, maybe group dynamics, how they work well with one another. I teach history, so I think presenting things visually is very important.
Okay, so TVP came about when the school started. It's been an elective since it started.
Did not know that.
So, do you think there were historical impacts to why TVP was created?
Well, what year did the school open?
1965.
My guess is as mass media starts to expand in all forms, I think the school probably got to the point where this was something that was necessary to kind of compete with. As students got out of Highlands, they'd be able to compete in the old global market.
Okay, great.
With other people in the same field. So.
Okay, so do you know why TVP came about and was created?
No, not clue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know when it was made?
No.
Okay. So do you think there was any historical impact that led to the creation of TVP, or?
Yes. I'm just totally guessing, but was there like some active thing going on maybe in high school, and then they wanted to show every student why they were doing it and stuff, like protest maybe? I don't know.
All right, that's a good guess. That's all we need.
All right, thanks, Monet. Showed that the student community as a whole doesn't really remember why TVP was created. We asked her why it was created, and she said that she was making up a reason. She wasn't really sure as to why it was made. Also, she could have inferred that we knew why, but she never showed an interest. She never asked, oh, I don't know why it was created, why was it created? So this kind of shows that the student community accepts why it was created, and it doesn't really think about the past or the reasoning towards what happened.
Right. So during the time of Highlands foundings, what was going on historically?
This is not about TVP now. What was going on in the world?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, first of all, some people thought that I came here when the school started. That's not true. The school opened in 1965. I came here in 67. And Vietnam was just starting to heat up, but it hadn't reached its peak. There weren't big national protests, but those did happen within a couple of years. In fact, one of my early years...
Okay. Do you think that any of these historical events impacted why, like, the creation of TVP or why we have it?
Well, no, now I'm going to talk about TVP. The interesting thing was when this school opened, and I remember reading newspaper stories, it was called the Space Age School because it had a planetarium.
Mm-hmm.
It also had a closed-circuit television system.
Mm-hmm.
So in every room, it's more advanced than now, in every room there was a TV, and they did a morning show from upstairs library in a back room with a live host and interviews and all kinds of things. I mean, it was more progressive than now, because now we're on the air maybe 3 times a week, and that's usually taped.
Okay, so when would be the general start, the ending point for school?
Oh, for the school year? I seem to recall, but I could be wrong, I seem to recall there were years when we ended maybe June 18th, June 19th. Then there were times that we went as late as June 29th or 30th, perhaps because we had so many snow days or whatever. And I don't know why these change from time to time. I think, well, yes, we did increase the number of days. The state has always required 180 for students, and at some point the school itself made it 183, with teachers being 186. So there were 3 days added because the school board probably thought this would provide a better education. In other words, for a number of years we've been above the minimum number of days, so that would have lengthened the year.
So, do you remember in 1969 watching the moon landing at Highlands?
Boy, did I watch it at Highlands or did I watch it at home? I don't remember where I watched it. I know I watched it, but we did show over the TV some of the early space flights. Alan Shepard, he was one of the first people, and somebody was landing, and it was 2 o'clock, and they put it, they would say, turn on your TVs in the class, and we could see that. And that was the nice thing of having a TV in every classroom.
Right.
But I don't remember particularly about
the moon landing.
Neil Armstrong. I mean, maybe it was a Saturday, Sunday. I don't even know. I just don't. I don't have a memory that I watched it from being in school.
In a recent interview with Mr. Brennan, he brought up that students watched the moon landing at Highlands, but the moon landing took place on July 20th, 1969, and so Highlands wasn't in school.
Yeah.
Why do you think he may have misremembered it, or why do you think people change their memories of that?
Oh gosh, I don't know. You'd have to ask him. Did you since tell him that the date was in July?
No.
That's why I've said I don't remember. I know I watched it, but I don't know where I watched it. So no, I can't speak for anybody else. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. That's.
The Apollo moon landing was a huge accomplishment for technology and society of the time. It opened the doors to further exploration of the moon and life outside of Earth. As Neil Armstrong famously said, "It's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind."
The first moon landing happened on July 20th, 1969, which makes the fact that Highland students watched it in homeroom an impossibility. Why do we misremember the past? Is it because of an idealist view that in Highland's past? Fact is, it would have been cool if Highland students watched it. However, that's just not what happened.
You start again, because I don't want that. I want to be very camera shy. Ready?
Okay.
How do I look?
You
I know
look
it's your
great.
project.
You look great, Mr. O'Kane.
I was like stuttering there. Can you erase that last part?
Absolutely.
Okay, you're racing over it now. Trust me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, go.
So, do you know why TVP came about?
Which makes the fact that
I'm not too
Highland
sure.
students watched it in homeroom an impossibility. Why do we misremember